You know, outside in the world, how many of you have found books, videos about control the mind? You know, you can be successful, manifest this, manifest that. You can be rich, you can be successful, you can do all of those things. But actually, what it does is it takes us onto one path. It takes us onto one path, whereas the real path is actually understanding our nature. So, here, Srila Prabhupada is saying, how many people here know the rules and regulations of religion? Any rules? Yes, sir.
So empathy should be caring, empathy, and should know ourselves, our mind, way of improving the life. So this kind of things should consider in that.
Amazing, sir. You're saying empathy, understanding the rules and regulations. What you're saying is being a kind, sensitive person, that you're awake and you're aware, not just of yourself, but other people. That's amazing. Is this your wife? What a lucky lady. My word. Amazing. Yes, what about you, madam? Compassion, yeah. Compassion, austerity. What else? Okay, so giving your salary and your earnings in donation. So not just keeping it to yourself. That's what you're saying. That sometimes when we earn things, we think it's mine, I own it, and I can do whatever I want with it, but I'm not giving it away. So you're saying Dharma is also about giving away your wealth, some of it at least.
Yeah, you should start with 10%.
You should start with 10% of your salary. In a year, yeah.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I was a little girl, it's interesting. Every week, my mother would have housekeeping money, and every week she would put money for the gas bill, the light bill, and then she'd say charity. So every week, some Lakshmi had to go for charity. So yes, you're absolutely right. Many, many people do that, and actually, many, many people don't do that. The secret is the more you give to charity, the more you get back. You don't give it because you want to get something back. But Krishna, if you give Krishna, if you just take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps, sometimes hundreds of steps, as long as you do it sincerely. So, anybody else know rules and regulations? Yes, young man. Be free from pleasure and pain. What does that mean?
So when you're sad, don't be very sad. Don't get depressed. If you're happy, don't be that elated to make other people happy. For example, somebody makes you get mad and not in this school, then you can say, well, I feel bad for you. Maybe try it again later, or good effort.
So you're what Lord Krishna says, somebody who's really equiposed, steady in their behavior, steady in their thoughts, steady in their actions, steady in their thoughts. So you're saying, don't get too excited and too happy, but don't get too depressed as well. What happens if you're on both ends of the scale? Anybody know? You have to stay balanced, yeah. You know, when we used to get happy as children, my mum used to say, don't get too excited. It's not good for you. And I used to think, why is she saying that? You know, I'm happy. I should be able to express my happiness. But you're absolutely right, young man. What's your name? Prithvik. Yes, so Lord Krishna says, don't get too excited, don't get too depressed, because that affects your ability to think with clarity. So you're absolutely right. So that's another thing. So that's a rule and regulation. Okay, what about this group? They're so quiet and they're sitting like good. Well, if I was in a classroom and I was teaching, look at how perfectly you're sitting in a straight line. So tell me, what other rules and regulations do you all follow?
I'm not sure if it's a rule or regulation, but I would say unconditional love is the seed that everybody is a foundation of before any rules you would start walking on them. So I don't know how to answer that, but more like for me, what I try to aim for is unconditional love.
Yeah. You're a great bunch, aren't you? Compassion, love, charity, unconditional love. Yeah, but what about practical things? What kind of things do you do? Actions. Yeah. Prayer. Prayer. What else were you saying?
I was saying like you could be disciplined for consistency to ensure that the rules and regulations that are in place, you actually do them, there's consistency.
What kind of things do you do that are consistent and regulated?
This week I've learned about chanting, like being consistent with it, and
Yeah.
regularly for archery times and stuff. So that's one of the latest learnings.
Yeah. Well, Lord Krishna says, rules and regulations are really important because they help us to become steady. So one of the rules is waking up early in the morning. How many of you have to do that? Yeah. Look at those boys. They're like that. Who was taught they have to get up early? Yeah? Brahma Murat, yeah? Oh my word. My mother, my family my grandfather was in the army, but my mother, she was just like, Brahma Murat, 4 o'clock, everyone's got to be up. Otherwise, you're lazy, So, yeah, one of the rules and regulations for spiritual life is to actually try and get up between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning. Do you all get up before 7? Huh? For work only. So what happens on the holiday or the weekend? Yeah. Sometimes our body needs rest as well. But if we're to, progress in our spiritual life, rules and regulations are important. Guess who gets to do all the who has to execute all the rules and regulations? Usually the children, don't they? Parents will say, right, you've got to get up on time, you've got to go do this, you've got to brush your teeth, you've got to shower, this is what you do. You've got to do your homework, is that right? Everything's like clockwork. So here Krishna is saying that rules and regulations of the scriptures, so it's not making it up. What do the scriptures say about rules and regulations? And it says, but out of laziness and indolence, people give up following those rules and regulations. Right, so I can't ask you the question, who's given up a regulation? But I can maybe ask all of you, which is one regulation that you want to do even better? Don't give up? Okay, but what rule and regulation? I know in the winter months sometimes getting up at 3:30 can be very difficult if I've had a late night. So that can be really challenging in the winter. In the summer, it's not so hard. So one of the things for me is to make sure that I do get up. No matter how I feel like I have to get up. So what about some of you? You said about chanting, making sure that you keep your chanting consistent. So anybody else? Anybody like to share? Yeah, reading scriptures more regularly. So what would be the ideal thing for you to read a scripture regularly?
That's my struggle actually. I think chanting and scripture, I can't find a balance. It's always like it's either total chanting or total reading scriptures.
Yeah, thank you for your honesty. Often people find that it's a struggle. Do I get my chanting done or do I get my reading done? Srila Prabhupada always says try and do both. It's really important because if you just chant, of course there's purification going on, Jetodarpana Marjanam, it clears the heart, it clears even past karma. But reading is so important because it opens your heart and mind. It gives you an understanding and it gives you strength. It really gives you strength. Like this young boy said, not getting too... so let me tell you what knowledge does, and we have to all try and get some time to read the Bhagavad Gita, is that when difficulties come, your intelligence is purified, and therefore you can act. You can act according to Shastra. Let me carry on. So, here it says rules and regulations are governed by the modes of material nature. According to previous activities, the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, they acquire nature, which is a specific quality. So I'm going to ask you, what's your nature? Thinking about gun, thinking about sattva, raja, and tamagun, what kind of behaviors are reflective of somebody in sattva, who's sattvic? Yes, sir.
His pure heart and knowledgeful mind, stable that tamasic means like they have arrogance, animal kind of behavior, eating non-veg so much, and this kind of thing is tamasa, and rajas include both of things, but they are ego.
Yeah. Well, everyone's got ego. And actually the danger, even for somebody in the mode of goodness, is as soon as they become, as soon as a little bit of pride comes, you put the effort into being sattvic. You eat the right food, you do the chanting, you do the reading, but then you think, oh, I'm so good. I'm better than so and so and so. Then what happens? Pride takes you straight down to the animal consciousness. So you're right. Pride is there in Rajagun and Tamagun, but definitely it can also come in Sattvagun. So thinking about what you eat is really important. So somebody who's Sattvic, what would they eat? Yeah, fruit, veg. Yeah. In the mode of goodness, yeah. Milk, yeah. Fresh live food, yeah. So nothing tinned or... yeah. That's right, yeah. Food cooked, I think, within 3 hours or something. 3-4 hours, yeah. Yeah. So yes, the quality of food that you eat has an impact on your consciousness because of So what do you eat? Let's say, for example, you go out and eat. What's the danger of eating out? You're very quiet, so you need to speak now. Come on, my love. Yeah, of course your health is going to be affected. How many people have gone to a restaurant and have had a dodgy tummy? Absolutely, sir. What else? And yes. Sorry, just 1 second. Yes.
I was thinking that it's not been offered to the Lordship, it's not been offered to Krishna, so that means that you're not actually eating sanctified food.
Yes, it's not been offered. It's not cooked. It's not been cooked for Krishna.
Food isn't correct by the person.
Yeah.
Not thinking about like, oh, this is to serve Krishna or is to feed the Lord, and then I should eat it and then I'm purified. So they're thinking of when the cooking could be related to, oh, I have to make it because it's going to give me a good money.
Yeah, so it's the consciousness of the person who's cooking and the consciousness of the person who's gone in the restaurant as well, that they want to enjoy and please themselves. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, when somebody does that, they're only eating, guess what? What are they only eating? Pap. They're eating pap. Yeah, so what happens then as well is, as Anita said, when you're eating, you take on the consciousness of the person who's cooking. So whatever they're thinking, it's going in the food. That's going to affect your consciousness. Yeah. So what happens then if you're trying to chant in the morning? The next day, your chanting is going to be difficult. Your sadhana is going to be challenged. So, of course, if you have to limit it, don't eat in a restaurant that cooks meat. You know. So the other thing is, it's yes, food is a really important aspect. Somebody in the mode of Rajagun, what would they like to eat? Chili, salty, lemony. What else?
They like the food which test more. They eat for the test.
They eat for the taste, yeah, absolutely. And then in Tamagun, what is food like in Tamagun? Yeah, meat. Yeah, meat, alcohol, onion and garlic, yes. Yeah, fast food, old food. Yeah, maybe tinned food as well. Yeah. Yeah, so here Lord Krishna is saying that according to our nature, we're going to like certain foods. Some people won't give up meat because they like it so much because of the tongue. But actually, when you eat meat, it takes away. What does it take away from you? You said it earlier, sir. Compassion. Daya. So Srila Prabhupada says there's an upai. There is a solution to overcoming the challenges. We each have our challenges. If we're really honest and we look within and say, okay, what's getting in the way? You were very honest, madam, and you said, I'm trying to balance between chanting and reading and trying to do the both. You were very honest and you were saying, I want to get regular. So when we, I said to you, look, I'm trying to, in the dark winter months, it's quite challenging to get up. And if I read tablet at night time, sometimes that keeps me awake as well. So when we really reflect what's getting in the way of our advancement, then we can actually improve our spiritual life. But here Srila Prabhupada says that can be done by the association of a bona fide spiritual master. Why is Srila Prabhupada saying that? Does anybody know? Why is Prabhupada saying that, according to our gun and our modes, we all have something that we have to work on. Why is Srila Prabhupada saying a bona fide spiritual master? Yes.
Because they're able to provide us information, knowledge past our material level.
Yeah.
They're able to also speak through the ancient scriptures. And so everything that they say is backed up by the Shastra. And it comes from a cyclic succession.
Thank you. So you're saying disciplic succession, bona fide guru is someone who comes from a disciplic succession. What they say is potent. They know the Shastra. What else was it?
They're able to think more on a higher, beyond the material platform. So they can think from not just on the emotional level or the material level, but what's beyond that.
Yeah. So they give a 360-degree review. It's higher than the material platform. It's on a spiritual platform. Absolutely. It also says a spiritual master who abides by the rules and the scriptures. So anybody know the story of the lady and her child who was eating too much sugar? Anybody know the story? No? Do you know that story? Would you like to know the story? So once upon a time, there was a lady, and her child loved sugar. The child would go and eat sugar every chance it had. If the mother was out of the kitchen, the child would sneak in and eat sugar. And the mother started getting really worried about her child's health. And she tried everything to put her child off. But the child just could not give up sugar. So one day, she said to her son, right, we're going to go and see a teacher, a guru, because, if a guru tells you what to do, maybe you'll listen. So, of course, the mother and the child, they do a long walk, they cross the river, walk up a bridge, they got to another village, and they come to the spiritual master. And so she sits down and they wait patiently. The spiritual master comes, and then she says, Guruji, please tell my son to stop eating sugar. And she was waiting, and she thought the Guru's going to say, don't eat sugar, it's really bad for you, blah, blah, blah. But instead the Guru said, go back home, come back next week. So she thought, all he had to do is just say, don't eat sugar. So why is he sending me all the way back home? So she goes over the bridge, over the mountain, across the river, back to her village after a long, long walk. Anyway, she was baffled, but she followed what the Guru had said. And the following week, she came back with the Guru. She came back with her son to the Guru. And then the Guru said to the child, don't eat sugar because it's really bad for you. So the lady thought, but you could have said that last week. Why didn't you just say it? So why do you think the Guru didn't say it last week? Yes, he was eating sugar himself. And he said, I was eating sugar, but I couldn't tell you to eat sugar. I couldn't tell the boy to not eat sugar when I was eating it myself. So that's what a guru does. They walk the talk. To know the path and to live it is different. So when a guru makes, it makes an impact, it's because they're living that way of life. So how do we get in touch with a guru? Yes. You can find them in the mandir. Yes, absolutely. There are so many people who can be a guru in the mandir. Yes. Sorry? In a school, yeah, your teacher. Absolutely. Who else is a guru? Yes. Yes, good boy. You find your guru as soon as you're born, because your first guru is who? Your mother. Then your father. Good boy. Isn't he smart? He really is. Well done. Well done to your parents, actually. So, yes, there are different gurus. Anybody know other gurus? What? Please come and sit here.
I thought it was for kids.
No, it's okay. No, it's not for kids. These are not children. They're all adults.
They are not their parents.
So, yes, Anita? A mentor, yes. What else? Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. Who else? Yes. Could be. Could be, yes. If you say so. Someone who tells you, yes, yeah. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, the Avanti Brahman, he finds everyone is a teacher. But as soon as somebody thinks they're a guru, or they think they're as good as God, then Srila Prabhupada says they're like dog. So one of the aspects of a guru is that they're actually quite humble. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, carry on. Who else is a guru? Hold fire. You, sir, with the cap. You've been very quiet. No, not you, behind you. He's like a boy hiding. You know when you're in the classroom, you always get one that's hiding in the corner. Who? Yes, because Lord Krishna is speaking. Lord Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Lord Krishna is speaking, Arjuna is asking questions. So he's a guru as well, because if we don't ask questions, then we're switched off. Then Srila Prabhupada here in the Bhagavad Gita gives us a purport. So he's the ultimate guru, the Jagat Guru. Because through him, through reading the scriptures and the purport, he gives us an explanation. So what we say is that when you're looking for a guru, you take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and the devotees. Srila Prabhupada through his books, he lives through his books, through his teachings. Thank you. What else? What else? Who else is another guru? Yes.
Guru is basically a person who takes you from the dark to the light.
Yes, a guru is somebody who takes you from the dark to the light. Absolutely. You're doing that to us right now. Wonderful. Okay, what else? Anybody know any other gurus? What about you, madam? You've been very quiet. With a lovely bead bag. Who else can be a guru? Teachers, yeah? Teachers. Yeah, Sangh.
Even though Lord Krishna were friends of Arjuna, but even he became the guru at that moment when he was feeling.
Yeah, it changed roles because instead, with friends, you're often just a bit, we're often informal with friends, but when Arjuna realized Lord Krishna is like the Supreme Lord, he then, of course, takes shelter of him. So there are many mothers. One of them is the cow. Yeah, we can learn so much from the cow. With the Avanti Brahman, he goes everywhere, and everywhere he looks, there's someone who's a teacher. Someone is always teaching us something. But here, let me make the distinction. Here, Srila Prabhupada is saying a bona fide spiritual master. Somebody who's not just going to give you knowledge, but is going to give you the knowledge that doesn't stay here after you die. That knowledge comes with you because it frees you from birth, death, old age, disease, and death. So if we're really serious about our spiritual life, then we have to seek a bona fide guru. A guru who is going to guide us and not tell us what we want to hear, but actually tell us what we need to hear. But we also have to be willing to listen to that. So there are different types of teachers, there's different types of gurus, but the most important is the one who will help you when you give up this body to actually understand what your destination is. Otherwise, even like with friends, they'll say, ha ha, he, whatever. But that's not going to help us in a spiritual context. The real guru, the bona fide guru, is going to help you to understand that you are a spirit soul. Yeah, you're not the body. And so when a bona fide spiritual master gives you that knowledge and understanding, then our life completely transforms, our objectives transform, our ability to make decisions changes. If there's one thing that's really, really important in our life is to have a spiritual master, somebody who's going to guide us and take us back to Godhead. The distinction between a spiritual master and, sir, as you said, a friend, is that a friend doesn't say, I will take you back to Godhead. But a spiritual master will say, okay, all right, you've established this relationship with me. The spiritual master is so compassionate. we have something called Sanchit Karma. Anyone know what Sanchit Karma is? We have Parabdha Karma. The Guru takes your karma. Who is going to do that? So that we can start again, we can start fresh. So here Srila Prabhupada is telling us that one has to follow a bona fide spiritual master. And of course, we can have other teachers who can also be gurus around us. There's Siksha Guru, there's also Diksha Guru. One has to, Srila Prabhupada says, one has to consider things carefully with intelligence in the association of a bona fide spiritual master. Then we can change our position to a higher mode of ignorance. So the question is, where am I? Am I completely loving and kind and transcendental? Or do I have moments when I get angry? Where would anger be? Would that be Sattvagun, Rajagun, or Tamagun? Rajagun, could be Rajagun. Rajagun and Tamagun, yeah. Yeah. What about lust? Tamagun. So then everyone is lusty because everyone wants something. If we weren't lusty, we wouldn't even be here. We would be in the spiritual world. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, because often we think lusty is, we have a picture in our head what we think is lusty. But actually lust is attachment, isn't it? Lust is attachment to something. And actually that attachment is a disease. Because when we're attached to something, it manifests as dysfunctional relationships. You do this for me because I did this for you. It could manifest in control. Somebody who's in Sattvagun, if they had some weakness, Sattvagun always helps us to get to Suddha Sattva, to pure transcendental knowledge. But until the modes are there, whether it's Sattvagun, Rajagun or Tamagun, they are still modes, they bind us. So what we want to do, ladies and gentlemen, as you're saying quite rightly, we want to be equiposed. That helps. But if you're in Tamagun, do you think a person in Tamagun is going to be equiposed? What's their state of consciousness and behavior? How would somebody behave in Tamagun? They could be lazy. They could be, as you said, extreme behavior. Yeah? Extreme behavior, so that you haven't really got control over your mind to control your behavior. Anything else? Yeah, 3 for me, 1 for you. 3 for me, 1 for you, 3 for me, 1 for you, 3 for me, 1 for you. I'm being fair. What's wrong with that?
I was going to say along the lines of being reckless in terms of making unintelligent decisions, and you kind of summed it up with examples like unfair, biased, are some of the qualities, not people.
Like a greedy behavior.
Yeah.
Hypocrite.
Yeah. What else? Greedy behavior, selfish behavior, hypocrite. What else? Absolutely, trying to pull others down. You see that when crabs are caught and they're put in a bucket and they try to get out. And what do the other crabs do? They pull them down. Yeah. If I'm there, you're going to stay there. I don't want to see you progress. Thank you. That's a really, really good example. What else is in Tamagun? Off track, like what? Right. So, okay. So this is really interesting what you say, because we all know the right thing to do, But we don't always do it because we go off track. And that's usually because of our gun. You know, it's like, no, I don't want to get up. I want to sleep. Or the people in Tamagun who sleep all through the day. And then they get up in the night. And they're like, where's the PlayStation? Where's the social media? So what is light for those who are awake is, darkness. For those, those who are awake early in the morning, for others, it's like, that's my sleeping time. Don't wake me up. So the reality is, what do we see in society? Do we see mainly sattvagun, rajagun, or tamagun? So you see tamagun majorly. How does that? So one of the things that an advanced person can see and observe. So where do you observe tamagun, sir?
Everywhere, most of the time, because people are addicted to social media very much. People are addicted to the non-healthy food or good healthy life. They are so much stressed. There are so much anxiety. War is happening. Greediness and selfishness is increasing. Like safety is also one of the things. Safety is getting compromised. So all these are the reason of the Rakshasa or Tamu.
Yeah, even Ugra Karma. Yeah. What else do you see?
I think it's rajas and tamas, not just one.
In people?
I think because they will have a lot of passion,
Mm.
and that will drive them either they will overdo something,
Mm.
and then that will drive they'll put them down to a different state of mode, like workaholic. Like you work, you have passion for your career, for instance, and you work to a point where you really get tired, but that makes you go into tamas because then you overdo it because you have no energy to do. And you kind of feel like decayed because you have no energy to do anything vital. So I think it's a combination of blend, from my view at least.
So somebody who is overworking could be also in Tamagun. What would make a person overwork?
Is it the desires?
It could be passion, it could be desires, it not knowing your purpose, absolutely. It also could be fear, that you've got a boss where you can't move until you finish your work. It could be low self-esteem, I'm not good enough, I've got to prove myself.
Or could be like financial strain that you gotta do it.
Financial strain, absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes it's got to be done, and sometimes, but Srila Prabhupada always says one must have balance. One must have time for your spiritual life. And it's like brushing teeth. We would never go out without brushing teeth. So chanting and reading, we wouldn't want to really go out without having that, that's kind of infusing yourself with the strength. It's almost like an injection. You take that and it protects you from the onslaughts of society. You had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
People could work for money.
Yeah. It's okay. A lot of people need to work for money, because if we didn't have money, you wouldn't be able to feed yourself. You wouldn't be able to give charity. You wouldn't have a roof over your head. So, of course, we have to do that. But Srila Prabhupada says, don't be too greedy. So, what are the sattva-gun qualities that you see outside that inspire you? Satisfaction, santoshi sada sukhi. Yeah, when seeing others who are really satisfied, yes.
No ups and downs, just
Yeah, no ups and downs, all straight. What's the danger of somebody who is completely straight? They could be dead. They could be dead. They could be, like your dad said, not compassionate, insensitive. So you've got to be straight, but you've got to have a heart, like your father said. What else? What else do you see outside that inspire you? Patience and tolerance. Where do you see that? You don't see it much. Yeah.
I think we're all part of
Yeah, it's like this, what this gentleman said, and what you said as well, unconditional love and compassion, that actually we don't know what other people are going through. Somebody who is in Rajagun and Tamagun, do you think they're all happy or do you think they're suffering? People, they might look like they're happy, but often deep down they're suffering. So absolutely, we can show up, not without judging them, not because you give empathy because you think they're suffering, but to actually show up. So in Sattva-gun, you can see the Lord within everyone's heart. You see the Paramatma. There's a verse in the Bhagavatam, Krishna Vasudevaya, Hare Paramatmane Pranat Kleshnashaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. You know that verse. That's a wonderful verse to meditate on, that we pray to Krishna that whoever we see, because the problem with judging, this person is Tamagun, this is Rajagun, this is Sattvagun, that we can often make mistakes because the mind doesn't always know. But if we try to endeavor, if we can endeavor to see Krishna within everyone's heart, then that's a lovely place, a steady place spiritually to be. So summarizing, Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport here that according to your gun, your modes, you will make certain choices in your life according to your modes. Now, to overcome that, it's important to have a spiritual master to guide you, a spiritual master who follows also the rules and regulations. And what was the final thing that we discussed? Yeah, so we recognize what the different guns are. We work towards them ourselves. But what we try and do is we look at our own guns, but when we look at other people, we try to be loving and kind because we try to see Krishna in their heart and we try to be a good friend, help others where we can, rather than judging them and putting them down. You are Tamagun, therefore you stay there. This is where you belong, or whatever, or Rajagun. But that happens, doesn't it, sir? So we have to show up, as you said, with compassion. So we started the class with the gentleman saying we should be compassionate and kind to others. And you said unconditional love. So yeah, so that's what we endeavor towards. But being conscious and mindful that we are always aware, where am I, as you said, hypocrisy. So the challenge for us is actually see within ourselves, where am I, what are my faults? Lust, anger, greed, envy, hypocrisy, quarreling. Do I quarrel? Did I like to quarrel? Harsh speech? Am I fearful? Am I doubting? Am I judging? Am I insensitive? Am I unkind? Because we want to try and show up in a better way than, try and leave people better way than we find them. So, thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions before we close the class? One question from you, please. Yeah.
About the Rajagun, where we see the Rajagun, we understand that Sattvic, positive, and
Yeah.
Tamasa is
Yeah.
so in the middle is Rajagun. So people say it's good to be middle, naughty and not. So that's the people intend to. So what is this specifically Rajagun? What kind of people they have? What I understand is the ego only. If we mix the ego in the Sattvic mode, that will be Rajagun. Is it right or no?
So your question is about different people and the different guns. But the Rajagun. But the reality is, sir, we've got all the guns within us. And they're like ropes, so they're fighting for supremacy. 1 minute in us, we've got Sattva gun, then we've got Rajagun, we've got Tamagun. So actually, the modes are in everybody to a certain degree. All three are there in everyone. And so, depending on time, place, circumstance, what we've eaten, what we've done, what we've said, where we've been, what we've thought, what we've said, that's all going to have an impact on Rajagun. But when Arjuna was on the battlefield, he was very depressed. And when somebody's very depressed, they don't want to take action. So Lord Krishna told him off and said, "What's wrong with you? This is not befitting of you." So Lord Krishna got him to come up to almost, not Rajagun, but to a point where, okay, movement. Somebody who has Rajagun often has movement. If it's pure, if they use it with pure intelligence, it goes up to the higher levels of consciousness. But if it's contaminated consciousness, it will go down. Yeah, if it's lusty, if it's selfish. So when we think about Duryodhana, it was almost like a downhill because he was doing it for himself, whereas Arjuna was trying to do it as an act of service. So Krishna didn't want him to stay depressed. Krishna wanted him to get up, get angry, and fight. So that's, if that anger is utilized in dharma, in pure devotional service, then that, as a Kshatriya, it's correct. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Well, the conch is just about to go off. Please do stand up when the conch goes. And thank you so much for being such wonderful guests and devotees. Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Gauranitai ki. Vipajayo Jaya Gaurachande Aratika Shobha. Vipajayo Jaya Gaurachande Aratika Shobha. Janavi Tatavane Jagamana Loba. Janavi Tatavane Jagamana Loba. Taki nitai chan Vamegadada. Taki nitai chan Vamegadada. Advaita Shini Vasa Chatradara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Chatradara Posi Ache Gaurachan Ragna Simhasane Posi Ache Gaurachan Ragna Simhasane Arati kore na Brahma Adi Devagane Arati kore na Brahma Adi Devagane Narari Adi Kori Kamaradulaya Narari Adi Kori Kamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Gosadigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Gosadigaya Sanka Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karata Sanka Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karata Madhura Miranga Baje Paramarasala Madhura Miranga Baje Paramarasala Sanka Baje Ganta Baje Madhu 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 Baje madhu 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 bhaje Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vatana Ujvala Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vatana Ujvala Vatana Ujvala Vala Dese Bhana Mala Kore Chalamala Gala Dese Bhana Mala Kore Chalamala Shiva Sukhanarada Preme Gada Gada Shiva Sukhanarada Preme Gada Gada Bhagati Vinoda Deke Gaura Rasampada Bhagati Vinoda Deke Gaura Rasampada Vipajayo Jaya Gaura Chande Aratika Shobha Jnana Vitata Vane Jagamanalo